Hello and welcome to the HMA CARE Act Data Teams training on Data Dictionary 2.0 implementation, lessons from Q1 2025. This recording has been broken up into two sections. The first recording you're watching now includes a presentation from the HMA CARE Act Data Team on data quality information relating to the Q1 2025 CARE Act data submission. The second separate recording features a panelist presentation from 4 excellent Cohort 1 and Cohort 2 County CARE Act Data Team members. Our presenters today are members of the HMA CARE Act Data Team. My name is Carly Bulicki. I'm the project manager for the team. Charlie and Jessica Wu are joining us as CARE Act data subject matter experts and analysts. They're responsible for processing and analyzing data received from counties, maintaining the data collection and reporting tools and resources, and supporting county staff responsible for CARE Act data collection and reporting through technical assistance. Serene Olin is joining us as our panelist facilitator. She's the HMA CARE Act Data Team lead, and she's responsible for providing strategic oversight for all CARE Act data processes. Lauren Niles-Wayland, the HMA CARE Act Data Team reporting lead, is also with us to support our hopefully robust Q&A. Lauren's responsible for determining the vision for our recurring internal and public-facing reports, such as the first annual report, which was recently released. Lauren and Serene both also participate in our training and technical assistance activities. Here's our agenda for today. First, we'll share some level setting information on the CARE Act data process flow and summarize the QA process. We will provide a summary of Q1 2025 data quality before we're closing out with an overview of resources available to counties. At the end of the session, we hope participants will have an increased ability to identify common CARE Act data quality issues, identify strategies to support CARE Act data collection and reporting workflows, and apply strategies to improve the quality of future CARE Act reporting. Now we're going to turn to some level setting information. Here we'll summarize the data process flow and provide a brief overview of the quality assurance process. County BH agencies are collecting data on CARE Act participants in monthly installments and submitting that to DHCS and HMA within 60 days following the close of a reporting period. The table here shows the submission deadlines based on the reporting periods, which do align with the 4 quarters of the calendar year. Today, we're going to be focusing on the data most recently submitted, which is Q1 2025 data, and those were due to us on May 30th. Here we have a high-level workflow diagram that describes what counties can expect once they submit data. As a submission deadline is approaching, HMA will reach out to CARE Act data contacts with email reminders as well as instructions and links to submit. We will track your submissions very closely, and we'll be reaching out to you directly to your data teams to notify you of your submission status. And we'll do that within the first few days following a submission deadline. Once data are received, we will initiate our QA process. HMA will assess your data quality, and through that process, we're going to generate a report that flags any deficiencies. We're going to share that directly with each county for correction and resubmission, and counties can expect that report sent to them within 45 business days following a submission deadline. QA reports will either indicate that data are accepted, meaning no deficiencies were identified and no further action is required on the part of county BH agencies, or they could indicate corrections needed. In this case, counties are asked to review their reports, correct their data set directly, and then resubmit it in full to HMA via Move It within 15 business days. Our next slide here summarizes the criteria through which CARE data are evaluated. HMA's QA process follows the CART dimensions that have been used by DHCS with managed care plans. These are industry standard QA dimensions. We will assess for completeness, accuracy, reasonability, and timeliness for all submitted data. If you're interested in more information or a deeper dive on our QA process, we recommend viewing the data submission options training that's linked here. Now we're going to take a look at what's considered a complete submission for Q1 2025. Q1 2025 was the first opportunity where counties submitted based on the Data Dictionary 2.0. Data Dictionary 2.0 includes 3 sections or modules, as we've been calling them. A complete submission will include data on petitioned individuals, care inquiries, and system referrals. Petitioned individual data are reported at the individual level and should be reported for the care process initiation, active service, and follow-up periods. Care inquiries, on the other hand, are reported in aggregate and represent total counts of all inquiries received related to the Care Act. And these are provide information on topic, source, as well as outcome of each inquiry, aggregate inquiries. And then system referral data are also reported at the individual level, like petition individual data, but these are reported during the referral period prior to when a petition would be filed. For more information on these modules and their corresponding measurement periods, we recommend taking a look at the Data Dictionary 2.0 walkthrough training, which is linked here. And I will place the links for both of those trainings that I've mentioned in chat right after my next slide. So now, as we wrap up our overview, we want to invite attendees to identify any questions you have about the process that I kind of outlined. If you have any questions about how to submit data, how to use our templates, how the QA process works, how the resubmission process works, any questions related to getting data to us and correcting it, please identify those. If they're not answered during this session, please send an email to caredatateam@healthmanagement.com and we can get those answered. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Jessica, who's going to kick off our Q1 2025 data quality summary.
Thanks, Carly. So yeah, we're going to walk through a data quality summary for Q1 2025 submissions, including individual guidance for each module of Data Dictionary 2.0. All right, we're going to start with the petitioned individuals module and the first CART metric, which is completeness. There are 3 pointers here that we want to share to help improve the completeness of county data submissions. First off, monthly reporting is required for all care participants. In Q4 2024, we started implementing a monthly reporting check in our QA process, and based on submitted Q1 2025 data, we've seen some gaps where participants were not reported each month as expected. So we wanted to remind counties to report data for each individual in the care process, even if their care status does not change between reporting months. We also saw some duplicate reporting records where the same care participant is reported more than once under the same care status within a single month. These duplicates can cause issues with data integrity, so we ask that you correct these moving forward. Next, we wanted to bring your attention to certain data fields we noticed that were frequently missing in the Q1 data. A few were related to petitioner information. So for example, first name, email, phone number. Other missing data points included outreach and engagement, as well as the data points related to LPS conservatorship and detentions. We also wanted to call specific attention to the stabilizing medications and type of stabilizing medication type data points. In Data Dictionary 2.0, these 2 fields are actually now required under most care statuses, but it seems that some counties might not have fully adopted this change yet. And similarly, the petitioner information and outreach and engagement data points were also all new with the Data Dictionary 2.0. So we just want to make sure that counties take note of those changes so they can submit more complete data. All right, let's move on now to more petitioned individual information, this time related to accuracy. There are 2 pieces of guidance we want to share here. The first is regarding identifier anomalies. As part of our accuracy checks, we look at the uniqueness and consistency of participant identifiers. Identifiers include data points like Social Security number and petition case number. If identifier anomalies, such as records with duplicate or conflicting information, are not addressed, It can be a big issue for both counties and HMA, and could lead to inaccurate participant tracking. In the Q1 2025 data, among the counties that submitted data, we counted that 14 counties had at least one care participant with an identifier anomaly. Some common issues that we saw included petition case number or social security number shared across multiple individuals. Another example that we saw was different values for age or sex for the same individual. So starting with Q2 2025 data submissions, identifier anomalies will actually be flagged in the county QA reports. And the reports will have instructions for correcting these identifier issues. So we encourage you all to review these carefully and maybe see if any process improvements are needed to ensure more accurate reporting. And so while this new QA step officially begins with Q2 2025 submissions, we will be proactively reaching out to a few counties that have a high number of identifier anomalies in the next week or so to give them some additional time to resolve those issues. And so the second point here we wanted to highlight is that we have transitioned to Data Dictionary 2.0, as you all know. And it's very important that counties follow all updated value codes, logic, and specifications. So we recommend that all staff responsible for CARE Act data collection and reporting review the Data Dictionary 2.0 change log, which is linked here. This change log lists out all changes made between versions 1.0 and 2.0. We've also included a few examples here of the new changes. So for example, first off, one example of an updated value code option is for data point 3.6.2 type of housing support. So this field is now a single select question, so you can pick yes or no. Which means that the code 99902 none is now outdated for this data point and should no longer be used. Another example we have of updated logic in the new data dictionary is the stabilizing medications data point, which is now required for most care statuses regardless of the value that was chosen for 3.5.1 mental health treatment services provided. Lastly, we wanted to highlight that there are also some new formatting and reporting requirements that you can find in the specification sections for each data point. For example, social security number and phone numbers should not include dashes. All right, so next we have a few common issues related to the reasonability metric. First off, we're seeing some fields populated even when the conditions that trigger them are not met, which ends up resulting in illogical entries. One example is the findings on care ineligibility data point, which only needs to be completed when the value client is ineligible for care is selected for the previous data point, which is the recommendation for petition dismissal. Another example of this is that the full service partnership value code must be selected in the specialized programs data point if you're also specifying data in the following data point for full service partnership. So overall, for these examples and other conditional data points, it's important that these values are only entered when the required triggering conditions are also met. A resource that might be helpful for checking reasonability and logic in your reporting is the data flow chart for petitioned individuals, which is linked here. And this is just a really nice resource that shows the flow of required data points for the petitioned individuals module. Secondly, on this slide, we continue to see inconsistencies in reported event timelines. For example, The date of investigation is sometimes reported as occurring before the petition was filed, which is not logically possible since investigations should follow the petition filing date. So we encourage counties to double check all dates in your reported data just to make sure they make sense timeline-wise. Lastly, we want to look at a logical use of none or unknown in multi-select questions. So sometimes we're seeing counties putting none or unknown in combination with other values in multiple select questions, which creates contradictions in the data. For example, if you were to choose in the race/ethnicity data point, both unknown and Hispanic for the same participant, that wouldn't be reasonable because participants' race/ethnicity cannot both be unknown and specified at the same time. Similarly, in healthcare coverage status, uninsured and Medicare cannot be selected at the same time. With that, I will pass it over to Cha to go over the last CART metric.
Thank you, Jessica. Hi, everyone. I'll be going over the last CART metrics. So the last one, it is going to be timeliness, right? So for timeliness, we are making sure that our county actually are able to like submit the data on time back to DSCS. Here we also provide like some guidance for county, right? So we have some guidance for county that encounter barriers related to submitting their full Care Act data by the deadlines that Carly specified in the earlier slide. So for timeliness, right, we basically to make sure that county are able to like submit the data on time. We encourage county to begin their like data reporting process as earlier as possible. By like beginning earlier, allow our data team to basically identify potential roadblock on potential roadblock or data concern. So with that, it will basically give like county like, enough time to like fix the data and resubmit it, right? And I think many of you have worked with Carly before. So basically, Carly gonna go through like the file, making sure that it has the right naming convention, making sure that all right, you have reported the correct reporting mark, making sure that you are using the right template, right? Yeah. So if you submitted earlier, we are able to basically go through the file, all the file that you submitted, and anything that we see from there, we can notify you to fix it early on. Every 2 weeks, we also host bi-weekly office hour. We also encourage county to basically attend those office hour. If you have any feedback or if you have any concern or you have any challenges that you are facing, right, we encourage you to show up. And when you showed up and you ask us like those like challenges that you have, we are able to basically provide you guidance on how like to report it. Other county might be able to benefit from it too if they are having like the same issue. Lastly, please feel free to reach out to our HMA team related to any timeliness challenges you may be experiencing, right? If you would like to request consideration for an accepted late submission, please email us proactively at caredatateam@healthmanagement.com. And in that email, just give us a quick explanation for the request. Just give us like the reason that you are requesting for an extension. HMA, on our side, we track late submission very closely. As you know, like Carly will reach out to you and making sure that you submit it on time and any issue, she will notify you, right? So we track it closely. The reason is that this information might be included in the annual report, right? So that's why like if you have any concern, reach out to us early. And we really encourage to like for our county to work on their data processing as early as possible. Next slide, please. Colin? Secondly, related to timeliness, we want to remind county that we require formal notification of no data to report for any applicable data dictionary version 2.0 module. We encounter many county that submitted some data on time, but did not formally notify us that they did not have data to report for the remaining of like the section of the data dictionary version 2.0. And as a result of that, we basically flag them for timeliness, right? Yeah. So on here, we provide some quick information on the process for formally notifying HMA. If you are a county that are using template A or template B to remove it, right? On the latest version of each template, basically we want you to put no data to report in cell A2 of each data tab, right? So if you have template A, you will have like the required data entry tab, and then template B, the same thing. So in cell A2, we just want you to put that indication in there, right? If you are using the prior version, it might cause an error in the validation rule, but the newest version, we put a validation rule to bypass that. So if you can just indicate no data to report, and that way we will not flag you for like timeliness. On the other hand, for folk who are using SurveyMonkey, we have a link, right? So you can just use this link directly to tell us which section and which reporting month you do not have any data to report on, right? So next, Kali. Now we will share some data quality guidance for the final two data dictionary version 2.0 modules. So the first will be like keyword inquiry, right? So this is a new section in the data dictionary. We want to call attention to the unique formatting in the keyword inquiry section. Keyword inquiry are defined as all inquiry received by county behavioral health agencies related to the CARE Act, right? If you are reporting more than 0 kit inquiries for a reporting month, please enter 0 for all applicable options rather than leaving the entry blank. We can use like 4.2.2 as an example. Okay, so we can use that as an example. If you are reporting 25 care inquiry from county behavioral health or social services representative, on the first box of the question, if you are using SurveyMonkey or inside that specific column, if you are using the template, you will basically enter 25 in there, right? So as you can see that 25 under county behavioral health or social services representative, right? So you put 25 there. If you have 0 key inquiry to like report for any other option, we want you to enter basically 0 instead of like leaving it blank, right? And lastly, another issue that we found is that the use of unknown or all finite, right? It is not a valid option code for key inquiry for the key inquiry data point. So basically, the reason is that the number of inquiry received by county, basically, it is expected to be known, right? So the use of unknown is not a valid entry for key inquiry data point. And now we're gonna go to the last section. So Carly, can you go? Yep, so this one gonna be for system referral, right? So here we summarize system referral guidance, like basically to improve data quality. For system referral, monthly reporting is expected if the disposition status is not yet determined or pending enrollment to county services and support. Once the disposition is reflected of by your code, like 1, like the individual actually been petitioned, 3, not petitioned, enroll in county service and support, or 4, neither petition nor refer to county service and support, right? Once it hit like one of like those 3 value code, county basically they are no longer required to report on this individual under the system referral section, right? And another issue we noticed for system referral was that there was a few frequently missing data point, and that include what 5.3.11 county of resident. Basically, we asking for the zip code, right, for this data point. And for this data point, as we stated in the like vehicle option, we want county to know that the use of unknown of the finite, it is not a valid value code, right? And we put a note under the specification that, right, if the zip code is unknown, please enter the code of the applicable billing provider, right? Yeah. So if it is unknown, then we put different options like what to use next. And I think one of the options is to use like the zip code of the billing provider. Other frequently missing data point, it include 5.4.1 housing status. Other one include 5.4 day of system referral outcome, right? So those are the one we identify that are frequently missing from the system referral. Next, Carly. Now, we want basically to invite participants to reflect on how their team can implement processes or check to improve on each of the card metric that we just described. And now I would like to pass it on to my colleague, Lauren.
Great. Thanks, Cha. I want to thank so many of you for putting your comments and questions in the chat. A few of them we've answered directly, but I think in general, we'd love to bring as many of them forward verbally as possible. So I have a few questions related to Move It that I think we might address right now before we move on. The first question that came through, and I'm going to direct both of these to Carly, if that's okay. Is there any reason the Move It folders might be cleared out? I just went in to see if the QA report for Q1 was in there and found the submission and delivery folders both empty. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so Move It is more of it's a file transfer application rather than a file storage application. So it's DHCS's policy that Move It folders are cleared out. I believe it's every 60 days. It might be 90 days. So yes, we recommend you download any files that we transmit to you as soon as possible because they will be removed from those folders eventually.
Great, thanks. And then the other Move It question was about naming conventions. And for everyone, it looks like Carly did drop in some input and feedback on how to name your files for Move It. We did just want to, though, add to that, there were a couple submissions, I think, that were labeled as a re-upload instead of resubmission this quarter. So just wanting to speak to, that as a potential, how to remediate that going forward. Also for Carly.
Yes, very good question. And maybe I'll just mention that the importance of the file naming convention for us, it's to support automated transfer of files between DHCS's system and our system. So we've set up these automations to grab files that are named a certain way and put them in a certain place so we can access them as quickly as possible. So it's important that the actual naming conventions are used and like word for word used. So we just want to reiterate the importance of using resubmission rather than words like re-upload or even resubmit. And then also wanted to mention the importance of where you place your files. So there's every county will have access to their Move It folder. Within your county's Move It folder, there is a DHCS_delivery folder, as well as a submission folder. Any files that you want to send to us, including your initial uploads and your resubmissions, must be placed in your submission folder. And then any files that we want to transmit to you will be placed in your DHCS_delivery folder. So again, that's all for the purposes of automatic transfer of files between us so we can get your data as soon as possible. And recommend taking a look at the data submission options training, and it goes into a little bit more about that guidance. And we're always happy to answer any questions about making sure your files are named correctly. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Carly. Before we move on, I think we have time for one more question. So I'm going to pose this one to Cha. The question came through, is there a report we can obtain for entries submitted by our county? For example, if we need to find out how many entries we've submitted, including details.
Yep, I believe this question is asking about getting back the raw data from the county, right? So if your county requests the raw data from HMA, I have a question to that. Like for this county, I think, how do I pronounce the name? Isaiah, right? Just wonder, like, is your county submitting through SurveyMonkey, or is your county actually using a template and then upload that through Move It, right? Let's see. Yep. So, SurveyMonkey, on your QA report file, we will basically include your raw data for the current reporting quarter, right? We're gonna put your data in there. It is gonna be named county raw data or something similar to that, right? Yeah. So we're gonna give you back your raw data set, because going through SurveyMonkey, it is only a one direction to HMA, right? So we will provide that, and then any issue we highlight in the care report, you're gonna fix it on the data we gave it to you, right? In this case, basically, you will wait for the QA report, right? Yeah, and we will basically release the QA report sometime soon. We have it. We just need to organize it, right? Yeah. Once we release it and we send out the email, right? Your data gonna be in your QA file. Samantha also have a question regarding, like, are there like any tool available to basically like do the QA check, right? Samantha, is that your question? Samantha? Yep. Previously we discussed about having our QA process, right? Where we can pass down our like QA query for the data. Because of version 2.0, it has changed some of the structure, right? It has changed some of the structure, and it also require us to restructure the ETL process, and also require us to like revalidate the QA process again, right? So with that, I think we will have to talk from our end first, and from there we can provide a clear like answer. Yeah.
Sorry, Cha, there is one, and then I think we're going to turn over to Serene. There is one more question here that I think is related to the one you just asked, coming from Alex Elliott. Is there a document such as the data validation matrix for Data Dictionary 2.0 that lists field level validations and conditional validations with dependencies?
We did it based on like the card, right? And when you receive the QA, we will basically highlight at the individual level, right? And then from value to value, we will basically tell you what's wrong with that. If, for example, like for race, right? If you provide a number out of range, right? We will basically, all right, for this person from this reporting month, with this identifier, right? The value of 90, it is not a race value code, right? So we say, right, wrong value code. Please look back at the data dictionary and use the correct value code for race, right? So we're gonna highlight everything at the individual level, right, and tell you exactly where the issue is coming from. Jessica, do you have anything to add to that, or?
I was just going to say that we don't necessarily have a document in place that has the the validations and the conditional validations in place yet. All of that information is in the data dictionary and also the flow chart, but we could be open to creating something like that if counties did find it useful. We have some internal documents that may be similar to what they're asking for. So yeah, just maybe we can follow up on this question.
Okay, I think that covers all the open questions we have relevant to what we've covered so far. So I think we can, unless anyone else has any other questions, I think we can move forward.
Here we want to call attention to some data collection and reporting resources. On care-act.org, we have a redesigned data collection and reporting resources page that has all sorts of information and resources for those county staff responsible for county CARE Act data collection and reporting. There's trainings, tools, resources, and also specific resources to support your transition from Data Dictionary 1.0 to 2.0. There's also a supplemental guide that has general and scenario-based guidance that's updated regularly. We also host ongoing biweekly data collection reporting office hours with special topics and important announcements. There's also a dedicated CARE Act data email inbox. You can feel free to email us directly at caredatateam@healthmanagement.com and we will get back to you very quickly. We also are able to host novel training presentations like this one as needs arise. Here is a listing of some additional technical assistance opportunities for counties. We do have a specific data collection, reporting, training, and technical assistance request form linked here. Additionally, we do recommend that all county data team members sign up for the CARE Act email listserv and select data collection and reporting for your CARE Act role so you can receive email and announcements and information from us via email. Here we also have some information about becoming an authorized Move It user, which all county BH agencies must have at least one. And if you have any questions about accessing Move It, we have some information here about how to get in touch with the DHCS IT staff. As far as next steps, we encourage you to review the existing resources on the data collection and reporting resources page, as well as check back regularly for updates to the supplemental guide for the CARE Act Data Dictionary 2.0. And if you can't find answers to any of your questions there, we're here at caredatateam@healthmanagement.com with any feedback or to receive any questions you may have. Thank you.